lives so much more often than the rest of the American population. I read about the loneliness epidemic, the isolation, and the loss of community. I began to understand the part unfettered access to guns played in this battle. Most gun deaths in the United States are suicides, and white men, despite the narrative you hear on the news, are far more likely to own a gun, even multiple guns, than Black or Hispanic men. I learned about the socialization of white males towards stoicism, secrecy, and avoidance of mental health care professionals. I was confronted by a perverse tragedy. White men are born with advantages conferred by race and gender, but commitment to the mythology of their superiority was a trap. Loss of a job, failure of a business, loneliness, and underemployment. Every group experiences these things, but for some white men, losing status could be a death sentence. While I, as a Black woman, have been plagued my whole life by the cruel violence of low expectations, I had never really considered the converse, that some white men are literally being crushed by failure in the face of idealized expectations. I had always felt suffocated by the mask the world expected me to wear, but I came to learn that white men could be strangled by their masks as well. I started to see why, although white men are 30% of the population, they account for 70% of the suicides. As an inclusion strategist, my days are spent helping others unpack their preconceived notions and reimagining an inclusive world. I am a Black woman who emigrated from Jamaica as a small child, grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and attended predominantly Black schools, white schools, and Asian schools. I've lived in Miami, Los Angeles, Abilene, Texas, and presently live in Houston. I've been an executive in some of the least diverse industries in the country: technology, commercial real estate, keynote professional speaking. I've worked both as an entrepreneur and as an executive in Fortune 50 companies. Throughout my career, I've helped hundreds of companies, schools, nonprofits, and governmental groups identify and overcome organizational practices that prevent them from fully accessing and maximizing the gifts of all their members. All that I have seen, done, and navigated has developed musculature for dealing with and reconciling difference, and it's quite literally my job. And I felt confident in this work until that moment. The revelation of the limitations of my own sense of justice sobered me. Despite all my personal and professional experience, the world was shouting out what I had been slowly becoming aware of: that the goal of inclusion itself, while noble, is inadequate. We need a bigger goal. We need to be indivisible. The Promise Revisited. America is not a naturally occurring phenomenon. It is a garden that must be tended, pruned, and nourished. Its genius lies in its ability to amend, but here, lately, we have felt stuck, trapped by a division that pains us like shoes that are too small. What if there's another way? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Indivisible. What a beautiful word. It is the most optimistic of words, capturing so much of what I want, not just for my country, but for my life. As a child shaped by divorce, I wanted a family that was indivisible. At work, I want my team to be sharp, powerfully braided together, and indivisible. And for my country, I truly desire liberty and justice for all. To me, it has become clear that if we could be indivisible, we would be indestructible. The word indivisible isn't broadly used, and all the definitions I've seen have failed to capture its beautiful aspirational promise. We often struggle to find